Welcome, I'm Mr. Timothy, and you're watching Renaissance News at 10. Let's step straight into our first segment, going live with our reporter in Vatican City. We're going to be taking a look at a popular new artist that has gained traction across Europe. He's begun to impress many people, including the Pope.
Raphael, I see that you recently finished a piece of art you call The School of Athens. Can you explain what's going on in this painting?
Of course. When I painted the School of Athens, I wanted to include some of the world's most important and influential thinkers over time. I put people like Plato, Aristotle, myself, and many others into the painting.
It looks very realistic. How did you capture these aspects in the painting?
I actually use a method called aerial perspective and added to it by making all the lights lead to a vanishing point to add realism.
This really is an amazing painting, but I can't help but notice this other painting you're working on. What's it called?
Oh, this one. I think I'm going to call it Sistine Madonna. I just recently finished it and I'm quite proud of it.
I can see why. It looks even more realistic than the School of Athens.
Yes, I use a technique called chiaroscuro, where I added lights and darks to add more depth. It makes the shape seem more organic and real.
Interesting. Thank you for your time, Raphael.
Raphael really is an incredible artist. Next, we see two of the most influential writers of our time, Dante and Miguel de Cervantes. Head-to-head in a battle of wits, they appear to be in the midst of a heated debate on who had a larger impact on literature.
My narrative poem, The Divine Comedy, was obviously more influential. I cast myself as the protagonist and set out on a fantastic journey through hell, purgatory, and heaven.
My tale, Don Quixote, is the best-selling novel in the world. It has sold over 500 million copies and is much more significant than your little storybook. I portrayed a nobleman who read so many stories about chivalrous knights that he goes mad and tries to become one himself, taking on the alias Don Quixote. It emphasizes character development instead of action scenes, which was unique for the time.
My work and the theme created in it have inspired countless artists and writers, and it is one of the greatest love stories ever told. My forbidden love, Beatrice Portinari, sends me on my journey and leads me throughout the realms.
My characters, Don Quixote and his partner Sancho Panza, are credited as being the original hero and sidekick duo that has been used in numerous other works.
I challenged the Italian politics of the time, like the Roman Catholic Church and its corrupt leaders. I portrayed them and their sins in the different levels of hell, even taking on one of the popes. What difficult problem did you ever test?
I created an intricate philosophical dilemma by having the original story show up in the sequel and having it be analyzed by the characters. It's obviously the more monumental tale.
We'll have to cut our showing of the debate short for the time being. To view the full debate, you can go to our website, renaissancenews10.com. In our next segment, we'll meet the astronomer Galileo Galilei, explain his groundbreaking discoveries on the sun, stars, and Earth. Interviewed by Mr. Fettuccini.
Mr. Galileo, I see you're using this strange device. Care to explain to the audience what it is?
You see, it's not my idea. The telescope, that is. However, this particular version I did develop myself. After many attempts, I have created this refined telescope capable of magnifying objects 30 times.
And have you put this device to good use?
I've made many discoveries over the years, but my research has been focused on Venus, and I've noticed many distinct phases as it revolves. This led me to what is possibly my most important discovery, and probably the most controversial. I have proved without doubt that the sun is the center of our solar system. When observing the sun, I also noticed dark spots on its surface.
Is that so? What do you have to say to the many scholars and priests who have named you a heretic?
If the truth is heresy, then I shall be forced to lie.
Thank you, Mr. Galileo.
These discoveries could revolutionize the world views about the solar system. What do you believe? Will the public accept the views of Galileo with what he calls concrete proof? Only time will tell.
I'm Mr. Farfalli, and this is Mr. Penne.
Do you, like many others, struggle to read small text? Now that the printing press has become so widespread, this has become a major issue.
I'd like to introduce you to a product that will change your life. Eyeglasses. Magnifying lenses have been created before, but they have never been as refined as this product we sell here at our workshop in Pisa, Italy.
As a scholar, these glasses have changed my life for the better, and they can do the same for you.
Exactly. We offer a major change in your lifestyle with our lowest prices at just half a shilling.
Here we can see Michelangelo when he first started creating the amazing sculpture, David.
Standing at 17 feet tall, the David of Michelangelo was a very ambitious sculpture. The giant piece of marble he used for the sculpture was actually extracted in 1464. Michelangelo didn't start the project until 1501 when he was 26. The character David actually came from the biblical story better known as David and Goliath, where a small boy defeats a giant with a sling and rocks. The sculpture's incredible realism came from Michelangelo's knowledge of human anatomy. He would participate in sessions where people would dissect the human body so artists could have a better understanding of where muscles and bones were. The sculpture itself took Michelangelo 3 years to complete.
Let's travel overseas, where our interviewer, Nigel Montgomery, will be talking with colonists struggling to keep their heads above water in Jamestown.
Tragedy has struck here in Jamestown. The Powhatan natives have recently attacked, killing over a quarter of the population. Let's talk to Edward Waterhouse, Secretary of the Virginia Company. Why do you believe they would do such a thing?
Curse the Indians. In a time of peace, when they lived with us in our homes, they have slaughtered 347 men and women. What have we done to them? We let them into our lives to share food and shelter. Many are angry they will not even adapt our religion.
Let's get into the perspective. Chief Opacano, what do you have to say on behalf of the Powhatan Confederacy?
For 8 long years there's been peace, but they continue to take our land, turning it piece by piece into tobacco farms. I will not stop at anything to rid our land of these intruders.
Thank you.
Which side do you think has the proper motives for this ongoing conflict? In the years to come, we will see how the Native Americans fare against the increasing floods of European colonists. And now we have a brief word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Lorenzo de Medici. You might know me as a poet or as a patron to your favorite artists, such as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. But I'm more than that. I'm the head of the Medici family and proud owner of Medici Banking. Ever since its formation in 1434, Medici Banking has had the one goal of serving you and keeping your money safe. As a direct descendant of Cosimo de' Medici, the wealthiest and most powerful man in Florence, I have spent my life learning to manage my money. I've used my money to give back to the community and forward human knowledge. With Medici Banking, you can do the same. Michelangelo has been working for the past 4 years to complete this incredible work of art. Michelangelo, would you care to explain the stories behind the scenes displayed?
Why ask, Mr. Tortellini? In the first 3 paintings, I did my best to depict the creation of the heavens and earth. In the middle 3, I painted the creation of Adam and Eve and expulsion from the Garden of Eden. And in the last 3 is the story of Noah and the Great Flood.
I see, so what techniques did you use?
Well, I used different techniques for each painting, but a very common one I used was area perspective, which shows depth in the painting. For the creation of Adam, I used a technique called pyramid configuration.
Interesting, so what types of paint did you use?
I actually used a method called fresco painting. I had to add pigments to freshly applied plaster. When it hardens, you can't change the painting anymore.
So you must have had to paint pretty quickly.
Yes, that was one of the most challenging parts of the project. That and painting on the ceiling, of course.
Thank you, Michelangelo.
And now, breaking news on the rise of the Mughal Empire. The young King Akbar of India has just won a major victory against the forces of Hindu, the Hindu army. Let's talk to some of the combatants on the scene.
Sir, could I get a word about the battle?
Emperor Akbar will surely lead us to victory over any threat we face, and bring us out of the hole dug by his father.
Thank you. And you, sir, a word about the battle.
Defeat is bitter, but at least the emperor will be tolerant of our religion.
Many speculated that Akbar will lead the Mughal to prosperity. Trade may eventually be opened between Europeans and the Mughal Empire. Thank you for your time.
We've just received news that Queen Elizabeth has just executed her female rival and potential heir to the throne, Mary Queen of Scots. We now turn to our special guests. First, we have advisor to the Queen, Mr. Breckenridge Wellington Dale III, and writer and military strategist, Mr. Juan Pablo Jose Francisco de Maria. First, we ask Breckenridge, did you foresee the Queen successfully capturing and killing her long-known rival in her lifetime? Or is that a surprise to you?
Well, knowing the Queen and her Machiavellian leadership styles, I had no doubt that she would eventually eliminate her rivals and threats to the empire efficiently. She's a cunning leader who knows that ends justify the means, and in the end, you need a strong will to succeed.
Thank you, Breckenridge. Now we ask one more question to Juan Pablo. What do you see for the future of Europe and the geopolitical relations surrounding England?
That's a complicated question, Jimothy. The Queen can likely start focusing more on foreign affairs now that she has to worry less about an internal uprising. With my experience, I would assume she would look to produce a male heir to take over. However, she is not one to marry or share power over the throne. I don't see her taking on major military endeavors such as an assault on the Spanish Armada, although I could see an assault on France in the near future, considering the French government's support for Mary.
Thank you both for the insight. That wraps it up for today on Renaissance News. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time at 10.